Now, what if I wanted to take part of this image and take it back to a previous state, take it back to a previous version of this image? Well, there's a great little tool here inside the toolbox called the History Brush. You'll see him in there. Grab him. He works in tandem with the History panel. So I'm going to go up to the Window menu here and down to History. Now, the History panel we've seen very briefly earlier on. What he'll do is track everything that you've done to this image. So you can see all the blurs in there, all the sharpens that I've done, and so on. And way up at the top, there's the original state of my image when I first opened them up. So what I could do is decide where I want to set the source for my history painting. I'm going to make sure he's on the very first version of this image. This is called a snapshot, by the way. And I'll bring my cursor into the image. I'll crank up my brush size here, once again by using my square brackets here on the keyboard. And all I'm going to do is start clicking and dragging inside the image. What's happening here is the previous version of the image is getting painted back onto the canvas. It's pretty wild stuff. So I'm going to get rid of all of that blurring that I had done in there. I really kind of ruined the foreground there. But I really like how those clouds came out up in the top there. So all I would do inside the History panel is make sure that I've set the source there. And I can set the source for any of these history states if I wanted to. As a matter of fact, things look really good here inside my image, so I'm going to save this version of the image simply by taking a snapshot. Click on the little camera icon down at the bottom of the History panel. That creates a brand new snapshot up at the top. So here's the current state of my image, and there's where I started. This is how the image looked when we first opened it up inside Photoshop. I'm going to take the current version of my image, the current state of my image, and I'm going to save them as a brand new document here inside Photoshop. So I've got them selected here inside the History panel. I'll go up to the History panel menu, down to New Document, and Photoshop creates for me a brand new document. How do I know that it's a new document? Well, I can see Snapshot 1 at the top of the History panel, or what I could do here is I could say Float All in Windows. There's Snapshot 1. There's my Horizon one, which is where I started. All right, there's a look at working with the History Brush inside Photoshop, as well as working with your photo retouching tools.